Hey guys! Welcome back
to Teen Mom and a Dropout.
It's your dropout here, Maddie.
I'm your teen mom, Michaela, and today we have some hot takes for you guys. I'm excited about this episode.
Me too. We have a few different hot takes written down that we're gonna dive into all over relationships.
So we're both in relationships right now, and we've learned a lot and we've grown a lot.
Yeah, because you've been in your relationship how long now?
We've been together since 2018, so 4.5 years-ish, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 5 years.
Yeah, me and my boyfriend, we just celebrated our 2 years, like 2 days ago. Right. So, pretty long.
We've definitely both learned a lot, and we have some pretty hot takes for you guys. I hope y'all are ready. Don't come for us for what we're about to say.
Yeah, because we know not everybody is going to have the same hot take as us.
Hey.
Everyone's different. That's kind of what we're going to get into.
We literally have a point about that. So we're going to just honestly jump right into it.
So I guess the first thing we'll talk to you guys about is whether or not watching porn in a relationship is considered cheating. And I know for some people it is, and if that's you, that's whatever. Do in your relationship what you feel like you need to do. But me personally, I think you feel the same way.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
I really don't. Plain and simple, no fucks given.
Yeah, like it's not that deep. Now, if I saw, I don't know, someone like I knew, you knew in real life, and you were jacking off to them,
that's a little different.
That's a little different. Like if you were subscribed to like a friend of ours, like OnlyFans or something, that would be weird.
Especially if you have to see this person.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if it's someone who more than likely is not a tangible person for them to get with,
yeah,
I don't care.
Because, okay, in my opinion, there are so many hot people in this world.
Yeah.
We all have, like, different sexual needs and whatnot, and just being with one person... actually, let me just start with saying sex with your partner in a relationship and porn, to me, are so different, because I know, for me personally, porn is not going to live up to having sex with Walker, like, just normal, you know? It's just so much different and better for me. However, I watch porn, Walker watches porn, we both masturbate, and sometimes that helps a lot, because there will be nights that we're so tired, and we're just like, I don't have the energy to have sex, like, I just can't do it tonight, and so we'll both just be masturbating. And kiss each other goodnight. And that's,
there you go.
You know, it works.
It works, exactly. Yeah, so I really don't think it's that big of a deal.
There's like also different types of porn. So let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's like online sites, Pornhub, whatever else there is, and then there's like OnlyFans, that's, whatever. And then there's like cam sites. Like what's your opinion on those different types of things? So let's start with OnlyFans. That's a pretty good one that's a good topic.
Yeah, so OnlyFans, I think if you're paying to see another girl's cooch, I don't. Yeah. The same with like cam sites. Right. If you're paying a woman when I am right here free for you to use, I don't like, why you gotta do that?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Keep in mind, we're talking about relationships. If you're in a relationship, if you're outside of a relationship, you do you.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever.
You owe nobody anything.
Right. But like to pay for it, and then it's not only that, but it's just like this one specific woman that you're really just like seeing naked. I don't know. It's almost like
I feel it feels
parasocial relationship.
It feels like almost more intimate to me. Like if you're watching porn,
that porn is porn.
It's there for anybody to watch,
right.
But it's when you're getting into the paid subscriptions and stuff, it's like you really want to watch this. Right. Like this isn't out for anybody to see, and you're
You really
Why
wanna
you so
see
down
this
bad
one
for it?
Yeah, this one person like
Yeah.
naked. I don't know. For me, that's a boundary that I'm not really like. That's another thing with porn is that there's different levels of porn and there's different boundaries that people have. Some people don't watch porn in their relationship at all, and they're a happy, healthy relationship. Some people do watch porn, but like I said, for me, I don't do the subscriptions. What were you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, now watching porn is fine, but if you have like a porn addiction,
Oh,
and it's
there we go,
like
yeah.
affecting, like you're spending hours in the bathroom, because I saw a Reddit story about that, about how this lady's husband would like literally spend hours just away from his family, away from work. He would always find time to like sneak away and just
Yeah,
get one done real quick.
right.
Now that's an issue. Like if you're having to,
Because it's like affecting your actual relationship now. It's affecting
Yeah.
your life. Anything else about porn? That's kind of where we stand with it.
Yeah.
Again, you don't have to be there, but that's where I am. Like,
you do
Yeah.
you, as long as it's not affecting us,
right.
whatever.
You know.
So to go along the lines of porn and self-help, I guess. The M word sounds weird
does
on
sound weird.
here.
It does sound so weird. There's gotta be another word. Literally, whenever I want to masturbate, I just tell Walker, I'm like, I'm gonna go jerk off. Like, because masturbate
Go flick the
sounds-
bean.
Right. Oh man. Finger the flower.
Oh my god. But anyway, so on the opposite end of taking care of yourself, when it comes to taking care of your partner,
Yeah.
sex is obviously a big thing in relationships. Now, that's not to say you should ever feel pressured to have sex to keep your relationship going. If
Right.
that's the case, there might be another issue you need to look into. But when it comes to, you know, we are having these healthy relationships with healthy sexual boundaries, a hot take I have is that sex is not over just because the man has finished.
Right. I mean, you know how easy it is or how quick it's like. I don't-
Sometimes it's 30 seconds. And this is not a this is not an attack on my boyfriend.
Reese just in the corner crying.
I'm not talking specifically about my relationship
We're
at
talking
this
about
moment.
men in general.
We're just yes, in general. Like,
Right.
you know, there's been times where you're hooking up with someone and it lasts literally 30 seconds.
Right.
And then it's just, you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I haven't even had time to think about finishing.
Let alone actually.
Yeah, and so that's a big thing because I feel like a lot of men are there once they're done, it's done.
They're
And
done.
it's like, no, we're not done here.
Right.
Come back and finish the job. Do anything. I'm not saying we have to keep going. Like, I know it's kind of hard to keep going
Yeah.
after the fact, but
Yeah. I mean, you have a tongue for a reason.
fingers,
for a reason.
toes if you're into that.
I know some ladies that have those like bags of just toys and dildos, like. But just saying that, like, I feel like the woman should be prioritized a little bit more during sex because the man's gonna get his nut either way. Like, he's gonna finish either way.
Honestly. Or if you're a woman, start just doing it back to them. Like, even if you don't finish,
Right.
get to where they're about to and just be like, I'm done. You gotta give them a taste of their own medicine. That's the only way they're ever gonna learn.
It's the only way they're gonna
Give them
find
blue
out.
balls until their pee-pees explode.
Wait, but I thought we didn't want them to explode.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that's so funny. And when you're in a relationship, I mean, sex is just as important for you as it is him. As a woman, we often go like overlooked, and sometimes it's not even on purpose. I mean,
Yeah.
like, things happen. Personally, it takes me longer than it does for Walker, and I feel like that's also normal.
Yeah, I
for
feel like that's a
women.
woman thing.
Right. There are some times that me and Walker kind of just want to do it just to have fun, and I don't feel like finishing should be the goal of every time that you have sex. However, if majority of the time, if you are not orgasming and he is,
It's gonna cause turmoil in
Oh
the
my God, it's gonna
relationship
cause so much
you're gonna
resentment.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. You're gonna resent them because it's like, okay, you're getting to have your cake and eat it too.
right, Here I
You're
am,
just flashing the cake in front of my face, being like, ha ha, you can't have none. Rude.
Right.
Again, this is not a take at my boyfriend. I'm sorry, I love you, Reese.
God, yes. I feel like we just need to have like a screen. We love you, Reese.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. All right, next one. Another hot take. This one's piping hot. But I feel like cheating in a relationship doesn't have to be end all be all. Ugh. And it's like, it's hard because this specific opinion that I have is very much a case by case basis.
Oh yeah,
completely,
for sure. Because we kind of talked a little bit about this before we started recording, because we wanted to figure out what we wanted to say here, because I know this is kind of a touchier subject,
right.
You know, I guess.
Right.
Obviously, if you are in a relationship where your partner is just treating you like shit, not giving you the time of day, not putting forth effort, just nothing seems to be going right in any aspect, and then they cheat on you, fuck that motherfucker.
Right, ditch him.
And get the hell on out. Yeah.
Right.
Like, obviously, if you're already not being treated how you deserve to be treated, don't put up with that.
Right.
But there are some instances where people are human and people make mistakes, and even though it is a really, really shitty mistake and it makes the other person feel awful,
right.
Sometimes you have to look deeper and realize, you know, we've had such a great relationship thus far. I really don't want to throw it away over one mistake.
Right.
And if they can prove to me that it was a mistake, I'm not going to keep doing it, obviously, then I think things can be worked out. I don't think everything needs to be thrown away just because of one simple act. Absolutely. Not a simple act, a very whatever, but
yeah,
that is how I feel about that.
Because when it comes to cheating, 9 times out of 10, there is something so much deeper than just on like the surface, and it really is inside of the person who is cheating. So it's like, not like most of the time they're usually going through something, and it's completely their own issue. Yeah. It has nothing to do with you, but sometimes that's hard to understand. And so just to completely like throw it away because this person screwed up, I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't always have to be like that. Another thing is that cheating, in my opinion, can have a lot of different versions. For example, we talked about porn earlier. For some people in relationships, that is cheating, and that's enough to cause an issue. For me, that's not really what I consider cheating. But the boundaries that I do have, if you cross them, that's cheating to me. And
obviously there's what you were saying, and then there's physical, and then there's emotional. And I think what would really get me is like when it's more emotional cheating, where you're starting a new connection with this person. You're figuring out what this person likes. You're figuring out, you're
having
getting
a whole like affair. See, because there's a difference to me between, you know, you're on Tinder and you're talking to these people and you're sending nudes, and it's like, that still sucks ass.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like there is a difference between going out of your way to like hook up with someone when you're in a relationship, and even worse, starting a new relationship when you are in a relationship. It's like, God, you gotta be like the worst of the worst to be able to do that. But that's what I mean when I'm saying it's a case by case basis, because there's different levels warrant different responses. And you know, another point that we're about to go into is I do believe in separation. I do believe in breaking up if a relationship is not serving you anymore. However, I don't believe that breaking up has to be the solution to every problem that you have.
It doesn't have to be the first thing you jump to after anything that happens.
All right. I really hope you're loving this episode so far. I love how we're kind of going like topic by topic. I think it keeps it like so much
more entertaining. Yeah.
Right.
Easier to pay attention to. We know all y'all have terrible what is it called?
Spans.
Yeah.
But if you would love to see more of our lives, You can follow me on TikTok. It is at Michaela Faith with 2 A's. So it's
Michaela with 2 A's
Right.
at the end.
Michaela with 2 A's at the end, Faith. And then on my Instagram, it's Michaela with 2 A's at the end, .faith. So it's period. But those are my social media handles.
And then if you would like to follow me along, I am Mad Lofo on Instagram, mad with 2 D's. And one mad mofo. Well, the word one dot mad with 2 D's dot mofo. But yeah, if you want to follow us along.
And then on our podcast, TikTok, and Instagram, it is just Teen Mom and a Dropout on TikTok and Instagram. So that one's a little easier to follow. But yeah, definitely stay in the loop with us because we have some really cool audience interaction opportunities.
Yes, if you want to, we have a Google Docs. If you want to follow our podcast Instagram, you'll find it in our highlights where we just take submissions for anything really. If you need advice, if you want to share a personal story you'd want us to talk about, just anything, please send it in. We really want to get to know you guys better. We want to interact with y'all more.
Exactly. And like I have some pulled up of like some of the topics that we could talk about, but it's really anything. You could talk about like women's topics, sex, relationships, mental health, self-care, body image, spirituality, anything you can think of.
Anything and everything. We are not afraid to talk about it.
Clearly we're not afraid to talk about some things. So yeah, definitely submit your stories there, and we would love to talk to you guys. But yeah, I hope you enjoy watching. So like I said, and our next hot topic is that I fully believe in separating. I believe in divorce. I believe in breaking up. And it sounds a little morbid. It's like, not because I'm a, Debbie Downer or anything, but I believe by having the possibility on the table that, hey, this relationship might not just be for me, I feel like that gives you more power and freedom in your relationship. So what I mean by that is if you know that, hey, there's a possibility that we could break up, you're going to put more effort into that relationship because you don't want to break up, because you do love them. You want to keep them. You're going to keep doing the things that led you to this relationship in the first place. You're going to keep going on dates. You're going to keep an open communication. You're going to not just settle into things because you know that this person will never leave you.
I know personally, like how you're saying, it's okay to leave. Growing up, I can't tell you how many times I heard my parents say, we're only still together because of you kids.
Right.
One, how do you think that's making the kids feel?
True.
I did not feel good knowing that because I saw the turmoil in my parents' relationship, and at 9 years old, I was like, damn,
This sucks.
these people don't need to be together.
Right.
And I'm only 9 and I can see that. Like, there's just, sometimes it's just not gonna work, and that's okay. Don't stay with someone just because you have kids together, or
you live together,
you're married. Like, just because you have this title doesn't mean that you can't change it.
Right. At the end of the day, I mean, I hate to say that it all comes back to like YOLO, but you really only have one life. Do you really want to spend your life miserable with someone because you've just been together for so long? It would be so hard to get out of, or it's just like,
I don't want to put forth the time to get into another relationship, so I'm just going to stay in this one even though I'm not benefiting from it anymore.
Exactly.
Because then it just gets selfish for both parties. Because maybe the other person in the relationship isn't thinking that way, and they're thinking everything's going fine, everything's going great, and you're in your head being, I don't want to do this anymore. Right. But I don't want to leave because that sounds even harder. And so you just keep going through the motions, and it's going to wind up way worse than if you just nip it in the butt when you see a problem arise, or you've accepted, yeah, this really isn't for me anymore.
Because the only thing that does is just create so much resentment. And if that resentment keeps building and building, it's going to blow up. And that's just not something you want to do. But if you have an open line of communication and you're just saying, you just sit down like, hey, this isn't working for me anymore. Like, I love you and I'll always have love for you, but I need something else. And, you can go on from there.
Yeah, and that's completely fine. But again, like we said, breaking up doesn't always have to be, your first line of action.
Right.
And again, I think it's a case by case study that it's just going to be different in everybody's relationship,
Yeah. Do you believe that? Okay, me and Walker actually had a conversation similar to this because we just got back from medieval times. It was a lot of fun, but on the way back, we had about a 2 hour drive. So we were just talking about a lot of things, and we were talking about the concept of marriage. And for me, I kind of struggle with what I feel about marriage in general. I know that I would love to get married to Walker. I'd love to marry him. But at the same time, what does that mean for me? Does that mean that divorce is just completely off the table? Because divorce is such a harsh and like huge deal. It's a harsh word and it's a huge deal. It's a hard process. It's expensive. It's like, it sucks, right? But I know some people that say, once we get married, that is it. Once we get married, I don't care what we're going through, we're gonna stay.
And back to if you have children,
Yeah.
I promise you're just making those kids' lives more miserable, forcing them to watch two parents who do not love each other.
Let me say something too, because I feel like having a family, these conversations shouldn't be something that's taboo. Me and Walker talk about, well, we don't often like talk about if we break up, what are we gonna, it's not something that we love to talk about, but we've had these conversations. It's just like, if we did break up, I know that Walker would still be such a great dad and that we would have good communication and we'd be good co-parents, and it is possible. And I've seen it. I've seen people have good co-parenting strategies, And a lot of times, if you're stuck in this miserable relationship, like you said, kids are not dumb. Not only do they catch on to that, but it also affects them in their daily lives. And
I was just talking to my therapist about this today. There's so many things I do in my relationship now because of the unhealthy relationships I watched growing up.
yeah.
Because it was all I knew. And obviously, when the adults in your life are acting one way as a child, the only way to think of it is, I guess that's just how adults act.
Right.
I guess that's how I'm going to be when I get older.
Guess that's just how relationships work.
And now it sucks because I'm in a relationship and it's probably is the most healthy relationship I've been in. And I see myself now bringing in these toxic traits because that's just what I knew. And it's really hard to unlearn them. And I was talking to my therapist about it today, trying to figure out ways that I can reverse these cycles and start afresh from what I know now and what I know is healthy. And
can I say something that I've learned recently that is kind of just like exactly what you're going through? For me, I am going through this period of so much contentedness and like happy in a lot of different aspects of my life, but I'm not used to that. I'm not used to being just comfortable and chill and happy in a lot of aspects of my life. So for me, I was starting to have this problem where I would create issues. It's definitely a subconscious thing.
Oh yeah.
But it's like you create these issues because it's predictable. So you're comfortable for a while, you're not used to it. Your body's like, or your subconscious is just like, hey, why don't you bring this thing up? Or, why don't you just say this that's like bothering you, even though it's not a big deal. Whatever. You start to create these problems because you know what's gonna happen. You know that you're gonna get into an argument about it, and then you're gonna like probably make up and whatever, and that's just like the cycle that you are used to. So pretty much just like being comfortable and happy is not that easy in a weird way. Going from a place where you and your body and mind are in like a survival mode instinct wherever you are, to now all of a sudden being like comfortable and happy and healthy, it's such a shock.
No, really.
And sometimes like
your brain just doesn't know how to keep up.
Right. And something you have to unlearn, which is not easy, but you got to do it,
So if ending things is not what you want to do in your relationship, even if you are in some turmoil, that's okay. Obviously, you can work through these things. You're not going to be in that turmoil forever. But something that I think would help is understanding and knowing that even though you are in a relationship with somebody, your standards do not have to stay the same.
Yeah.
What you wanted when you first met that person does not have to be the same as when you end things with that person, you know?
Yeah.
Because life is all about growing and growth and change in every aspect as a person, as a relationship. You're gonna go through things and you're gonna grow through things and
You either grow together or you grow,
grow
apart.
apart. And that's the sad thing. And I want it to be known that it is so okay to just expect more of your partner as time goes on, because
Yeah.
as you're growing in your relationship, like I said, you're also growing as an individual. And so the things that you want, the things that you need, the things that you value are obviously going to change. And if they're not changing with your relationship, then that's where you start to outgrow them.
Yeah.
And if the other person can't understand, well, you've never wanted this from me before, why do you want this from me now?
Yeah.
That's where you can run into those issues where it's like, maybe this isn't gonna work out because we're not seeing eye to eye anymore.
Or it's like along those same lines, like you just said, you can either grow apart or you can grow together. If you're wanting to grow more together, you can sit down, and if you have been developing these healthy communication styles, you can sit down and talk to each other and say, hey, I know in the past it hasn't been as much of an issue, but recently I've been feeling like whatever, you know. For this example, let's just say like I have been doing the dishes a lot more recently, and I need you to help more around that without me having to like tell you or expect it. It's just something that we need to do more of an effort, you know, just housework, whatever. So if you can sit down and healthily like communicate that in a way that the other person won't get so defensive, you can start to grow together. And so it's like you either have these two things, and it really just depends on your case by case relationship.
Yeah. And I think that's a big thing, what you're saying about being able to sit down without the other person getting defensive. That's another thing that I've found in my relationship, is that sometimes tone and the word choice that you use, the facial expressions that you
So
use,
huge.
the body language that you use, like there's so much that goes into communication.
Yes.
And it's obviously very hard. And so I think you have to, like you said, really sit down and, okay, let's figure out what is going to work for us.
Right.
Let's figure out, let's just figure it out. That's a big thing, is I think how we were saying earlier that breaking up is okay. I really do think that some people are just so quick to break up because it's, okay, this isn't working, I'm just done. I'm going to move on to the next.
Yeah.
When it's, you know, it doesn't have to be that way. And especially if you really truly do love this person, just sit down and have a conversation. I know it's hard sometimes. I know me personally, even though I know I can tell my boyfriend anything, I trust him 100%, I still find myself feeling as if the conversations I want to have are like awkward
Yeah.
or uncomfortable, but you have to have those awkward and uncomfortable situations or
Especially
conversations.
with your partner, just know that if it is like a healthy relationship, then they're gonna go through it with you. It's
Yeah.
gonna be uncomfortable together, and that's, you know, that's a great feeling. Just knowing like I'm not alone in this. And so, you know, if I ever have a problem, I am now in the phase of our relationship where I can bring it up to Walker, and I can say, hey, this is bothering me, and now he will stop what he's doing, he'll listen to me, and he'll be like, I'm so sorry, like that sucks, here's what I'll do to get it better. And then after that, we're usually just joking around, like hanging out, having fun, just making fun of each other. I don't even know, but literally after that things get back to normal. But it's that initial me noticing something and saying like, hey, that wasn't really cool, or I didn't really like that, or maybe you could do this, and just with a soft tone, with a calm manner. That's huge.
This is something Reese and I were saying the other night, because we were talking about like holding each other accountable and stuff, and we kept using the word, we were like, when we were in these situations, we need to be better about calling each other out.
Yeah.
But that's so harsh. It has such like a
is.
negative connotation behind it.
It's like you're attacking this person rather than like helping this person.
And so hold them accountable is what we decided on.
Yeah.
Because you're not pointing fingers, you're not blaming, you're not
You did
it's
this
just,
and
hey, so you know, you did this and this is how it made me feel and this is what I want to get from this.
Right.
And it's as simple as that. It
So
doesn't
many
need to
things
be,
can be accomplished
you
with
did
that.
this to me and now I'm mad at you and fuck you and this isn't this.
Right.
The pointing the finger is a big thing.
Yeah, literally and metaphorically just
Yeah.
I along with Tone, so Walker, whenever he gets home from work and stuff, this man is exhausted, poor thing, because he literally has like these however long 10-hour 15-hour shifts, then he has a 2-hour drive home, and so by the time he gets back he's tired, and so sometimes he'll tell me beforehand, which I think is also another great way of communicating. He's like, I just want you to know I am so exhausted. It has nothing to do with you, but if my tone is like just monotone, or if I'm not like over exaggerating or matching your energy, it's not anything to do with you, it's because I'm tired. And after he says that, I'm like, okay. So then it's like I'm not thinking into everything he's doing and saying and being like, does he just not want to see me, like, you know, or have these unrealistic expectations, when really he's just tired, and you know, that's all it is.
That's a great thing that I think I'm glad we're bringing it to the pod, because that's something I'm going to take into my relationship now, because that is something that I run into the issue a lot, is that I am such an energy person.
Yes.
Like, I feed off of other people's energy. I can tell exactly, like, there's no hiding that you're upset from me.
Right.
Because I can literally feel it. And then it's going to put me in a bad mood because you're in a bad mood, and it's going to be a constant cycle of bad mood, bad energy, tension.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I do have the tendency to overthink, and obviously he's upset. He must be upset at me. He's not talking to me right now. Obviously there's something wrong. Yeah. When 9 times out of 10, it really is just they're tired.
Yeah.
And they just don't have that energy to put forth right now. And it's nothing against you. It's just, I literally don't have it to give.
Right. For me, it mainly comes if I'm grumpy, or if I'm in a bad mood, or I'm overstimulated. That's a huge one for me.
That's a big thing.
I will always tell Walker, it's more, that one's more in the moment. I can't tell when I'm about to be overstimulated.
Yeah.
But when I am, I will look at him and I'll be like, Walker, I need to go in my room for like 10-20 minutes. I need to go, nothing with you, I'm overstimulated. And then I go, and he's fine, and it doesn't bother me. I come back out after the 10 or 20 minutes, and I'm like, thank you so much. Like, I just needed that break, because the TV was going, Kai was crying, I'm hot, I'm thinking about all the 20 different things I have to do for work. It's like, there's way too much going on right now. I need a break.
I literally had that happen to me last night, because tell me why we had the washer, the dryer, the dishwasher, the AC on, the TV blaring, me watching TikTok, the animals running around, and I'm sitting there, and I like my chest felt so tight, and I felt like I was just about to have a panic attack, and then it just made me feel angry at Reese, because Reese is laying on my lap and I can't move,
and you can't,
and I was like, I need you to get off of me. I'm literally freaking out right now. There's too much going on. And he stood up, he turned the washer and dryer off, he turned the dishwasher off, turned the AC off, and he was like, you better now? I said, yes, now that there's only one sound going, I am fine.
Right. No, I absolutely. Or sometimes it's the sound too, but it's the lighting for me.
Oh, yeah.
At 5-6 p.m., the lighting needs to change. Like the overhead lighting, no more. I need the lamps. Otherwise, it will give me a migraine and it gives me a headache, and that's just something you don't want to deal with for me. So overstimulation is a huge one for me. So having that communication is a must. It's like a must have.
And I'm so glad that like Reese can see it now when I'm being like overstimulated, and he realizes, okay, she's not actually mad at me. She's mad at the million different things going on right now, and she's just taking it out on me.
Oh my God. No, for real though. Like,
so something we keep coming back to is that what works in one relationship is not going to work for another, and that in itself is a hot take, because I can't tell you how many times I've found myself as an outsider looking into someone else's relationship and being just like almost jealous, because I'm like, oh, like they never fight, they never argue, they look so picture perfect, they must, like, they just are so in love with each other, and I'll see the things that they do and I'll think that I need to bring them into my relationship, but it's like,
it's not.
Yeah, just because one, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. That relationship might not be as perfect as we think, but also what they do, if it is a perfect relationship, what they do might not in terms make my relationship a perfect relationship, because everybody is different.
it's like not only is everybody different, but everybody is so different.
Yeah. I'll give a good example while you
Yeah.
think. But like something for me that me and my boyfriend have established in our relationship is that there's times where, you know, we're in the heat of a moment argument, we're just saying things, not even remembering them right after because we're just spewing shit out because we're just
Right.
upset. And something I found that works for me is that separating and being apart from one another and texting him, even though it doesn't seem as,
Conventional.
yeah, or as intimate or whatever, it works for me because when I'm in the moment, I'm just, like I said, I'm spewing shit out.
Right.
But when I have taken time to separate myself from the heat in the moment and really think about and, you know, type out and reword and rethink what I want to say, it is so much easier for me to get my point across without being upset about all these other things before I get that point across,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Totally. You have like time to think about what you want to say and be intentional with your words rather than just being so like in the moment. Because whenever you're angry with someone, it's like you can feel it and it's, oh my gosh.
It literally takes over.
Right.
And so, and it took me so long because I thought for the longest time that I have to have these conversations face to face. It doesn't matter what makes you comfortable. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how you need to do
But
it.
according to who? Because
Yeah.
if it doesn't work for you, then like
It doesn't work for me. And that's
Right.
okay. And even my boyfriend, because I was really worried about how he was going to feel in that, because I think he is more of like a face-to-face person, but he was like, you know, that's awesome. If that's what works, that is what works, and we can try it, we can do it, whatever we need to do.
yeah.
And that's just what you have to do sometimes. You just have to find what works for you, and if it's not what society norms are, fuck them.
Right. Because society's not in your relationship. Society
Exactly.
is not in your pussy. So they can just
Society ain't sucking his dick at night.
Right.
So fuck them.
Right. Okay, so another thing that works for other people in relationships that does not work for me and Walker is us being 50-50 all of the time. I can't do it because I am never I have bipolar disorder. So for me, I am never 100% with anything. I'm either 120% or I'm 0%. Like there's hardly ever an
In between, yeah.
So with that, Walker and I are consistently picking up each other's slack, especially with parenting. So what works for some people is like they will be doing everything together as a family. They will clean as a family. They will eat as a family, cook as a family, whatever. They're always with each other all the time. That does not work for me because sometimes I'm just like, I need my own space. I am such an individual person. I need my quiet time and I need my space. So for me and Walker kind of like take shifts throughout the day of like whoever's watching Kai. So for example, yesterday I was sitting down on the couch because we just got back from our little trip and I was really exhausted, you know? So me and Kai were both just exhausted. We were cuddled up in the blanket watching Little Bear. We were set, right? Tell me why this man starts just getting up all around the house after this whole trip, this 2-hour drive. He just starts cleaning the house, right? I had this like guilt that I wasn't doing it with him, but then I just remembered like, hey, he's doing his thing. I have Kai. This is my shift with Kai. Whatever he does on his free time, that's fine. Like, you know? So by us being able to like take these shifts and take turns with Kai, we are able to maintain our sanity, and that is just what works with us. It's not normal, and I don't know. I hate saying normal because it's normal for us. I don't hear about it as often, but that's just what works.
Yeah. And back to what you said about 50-50 all the time. That is just, especially when you're dealing with two mentally unwell people in a relationship,
Right.
there's just times, like you said, you're going to be either 100 or 120.
Right.
There's times in a relationship it's 75-25. There's times it's 50-50. There's times it's 0 and 100. And it's just, you're going to have to pick up the slack for your partner every now and then.
Right.
And
you also
that's
can't
okay.
expect your partner to be at 100% all the time either.
Yeah.
You know?
And like there's bad mental health days, there's just shitty days at work, there's just times you can't always give your all.
Yeah.
And that is okay. And I don't think there should be any pressure on, like you were saying, like you felt like you needed to get up and start doing it with him.
Right.
I don't.
Even though everything in my body, I was just like, I can't do this right now. Like,
And that's okay. Sometimes you just
need to chill out and watch a little bit.
exactly. And if it works for you, it works for you, and that's
Right.
awesome. And if it doesn't, that's cool too. I hope you find something that works for you. But
Exactly.
relationship is all about a give and take, I feel
Absolutely.
like. And you gotta know that sometimes you're gonna be given more and sometimes you're gonna be getting more.
Right.
And it just depends on the day, and that's okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so I just saw a TikTok that Drew posted about how her boyfriend is just as much of a feminist, like slay pussycat queen as she is. And the question was kind of just like, can you stay with someone who doesn't have the same political beliefs as you? And for me, that's a hard fuck no. I mean, I am literally a Black woman in America. That in and of itself is so hard. And if there's someone who, they don't have to go through it to be able to understand and sympathize, you know? And so it's like, for me, Walker and I have so many conversations about political things, whether it's me being a woman or whether it's about race in America or like, whatever it is.
Just anything.
Just
yeah.
anything. And 9 times out of 10, we are on the exact same page. And for the 1 time out of 10 that we might disagree, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, as long as it's not hateful or whatever, I don't care. Like, that's your opinion. I have mine. But at the same time, when it comes down to your core moral beliefs,
I'm not just gonna turn the other cheek because, like, we don't agree. I'm not gonna just let it be the elephant in the room that, you know, you don't believe that gay people should have rights, and I do, because we ain't gonna get along.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. For the sake of both parties in the relationship, I need to agree with, we need to have similar morals.
right.
Because it's hard. Like, I cannot imagine, actually I can't imagine, because I did date someone
I did too. I dated someone who was a full-on racist, like, in their family.
Yeah. Unfortunate for you, you were with him a lot longer than I was
Right.
with this guy. I nipped that in the butt real quick. But yeah, no, I literally dated this guy, and he was very much Christian, and I very much am not. And that's not to say anything bad about Christians.
Yeah, not at all.
It was just this particular one in general. And so I was like, well, you know, even though we don't have the same religious beliefs, maybe we can still make it work. And then the relationship went on, and I remember we were literally in his car. We just got done at a date at Texas Roadhouse. We had a great time. I was like, okay, this is so fun.
Yeah.
We get in the car, and earlier in the day, he had met one of my gay friends, right? And I don't even know how the conversation came up. We were not talking about gay people at all. And he was just like, yeah, I don't like your friend. I was like,
Why?
what?
Yeah.
And he was like, he's gay. I said, yeah, I got that. What's the issue? He was like, that's the issue.
That is insane.
And I'm sitting there as a bisexual woman, like...
I just...
And he just went on to this whole homophobic rant about how the gays are taking over and this and that, and just literal just idiocracy,
Right.
pretty much, plain and simple. And I was
You're
just...
literally like, I can't even stand here to listen to this at this point.
And it was just, we disagreed on everything. I got my little finger tattoo. I remember when I got that, and I went to his house afterwards, and he had like a whole breakdown because I inked my temple. I inked it up, and I didn't ask his permission. And,
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
And just like went into this whole thing about that I should respect my body more, and I should respect him more, and have more respect for him, and just, what does me doing anything to my body have to concern with you?
Right. First of all, hell no.
Hell no. You got me all the way fucked up.
Right.
Like,
For me, it was... I've only dated 2 people in my life. It's so obvious.
imaginary boyfriend that Kayla had for a few years.
Not me with all of the like imaginary.
Yeah, maybe we're just schizophrenic.
Okay, well, my ex-boyfriend, we were having a conversation and he swore up and down that he like wasn't homophobic or whatever. And a literal quote from him was, "I'm not homophobic, I just don't like gay people." Like and I'm like, okay, well, what do you mean? I don't know what conservatives' obsession with the gay agenda is, and what even is that? Like, they're just closeted. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Plain and simple.
they have all that pent up.
There's just a firewall around their brain that I cannot act on these thoughts that I'm having.
So no one else should be able to.
Exactly.
Be there. Like,
exactly. Like, you're just mad that
yeah.
they're getting to do what you want to do.
Also, with the same ex, he swore up and down that one of our gay friends was secretly straight. And he was just wanting to be with us because we're all women and he just wanted to be around all women. And I'm like, sorry that my friend isn't like a pervert. Like,
yeah, literally.
And who in their right mind, in the small town that we lived in, why would you want to be gay?
Exactly. Because the way he was getting hated on from
So
the
much.
day he moved here in 7th grade.
Right.
You think he chose that?
Right.
Hell no.
Just to be around some like
Some women?
girls, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like gay guys don't like pussy. Like they just I'm sorry, but he does not want like
No.
he does not want you. I'm sorry.
it
That's
does
not how that
not.
works. Oh my gosh. I don't even but yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely do not think. Definitely, I know. Don't even think that I could be with somebody with altering views than me.
And
Just when it's like that altering, like if you
right.
disagree on what's like a little disagreement,
taxes, I don't even know.
I don't even like just some dumb bullshit. But it's when it comes down to your pivotal human morals, like me personally, gay rights, trans rights, Black Lives Matter.
It's like all the things that actually affect human people,
Yeah,
human
and
lives.
That's the thing, is that I feel like everyone should have respect for everyone.
And you want to know something that's so crazy? This is a little random, but like, why are these same people the avid like all lives matter and whatnot? But
then you bring up a gay life, and they're like, well, not that one.
Or a trans life.
What about Black life? No, not that one.
No, not them either. Like,
then whose lives are you talking about?
white lives, like literally. I don't even know how I say that without it being just taken down.
Oh yeah.
But you know what I'm trying to say.
All right. Another thing we want to talk about is money does not impress everybody.
Right.
And I think especially with like male and female relationships, I feel like there's so many men out there who feel like they have to like buy the woman's affection, and they have to show her, these flashy dates and these flashy gifts and this and that, and it's well, those things are cool. They're cool as long as you have the means to afford them.
Right. It's kind of just like money isn't the root of what makes a relationship. So I do know though that there are some women who are like, they're like, my worth is like up here, so if you can't keep up with that, then I don't want you. Mm-hmm. That's fine. Honestly, it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, there's a man out there who
would love to give her everything that she wants. But for me, it's like money does not have to be everything. So I am just as happy on a date on a picnic than I am at a fancy restaurant that cost us $200. So for me, I'm almost the opposite. It's like, for me, like, I can have so much fun without having to spend $200 on a meal that I'm gonna eat once and then shit out later. Like, I would rather spend that $200 on maybe an experience.
Yeah, I'm a
cool.
big experience person. Like, I would much rather have a time and create a memory that we can look back on and enjoy forever.
Right.
Than
these fancy days.
Yeah, or some gift that I may or may not be using 2 weeks from now.
Right.
Just like, I feel like that's just a big thing in society, is that
money,
yeah. Fucking Andrew Tate. You gotta have a Bugatti to be able to get a woman in these
these parts.
But, and I feel like that puts a lot of pressure on men too, always thinking that, oh, like all women are the same, I have to get her this, I have to do this for her,
Right.
yada yada yada. And to the men out there, if there's any watching, just know that is not the case. And if you are with a woman who maybe is more materialistic and you just don't have the means to do so, maybe that is just y'all aren't compatible.
Right.
Because sometimes that is the case, and that is okay.
Mm-hmm. I
But,
fully agree, and
especially as, sorry, what were you gonna say?
no, I wasn't gonna say that.
Especially as like someone who grew up so poor, money is so much more significant to me, and that's not saying that I'm financially responsible at all.
Right.
I am working on that, but it's just I would rather have the comfort in knowing that I have the money for something to come up than having, like you said, a big expensive meal that
Right.
is gonna be a one and done, shit out a
Yeah.
few hours. Like,
Or I think another thing, because for you were saying, like, you know, it's not like I'm financially stable right now or whatever. But at the same time, we have to keep telling ourselves that we're only 20. We're
Yeah.
exactly where we're supposed to be. Like, we're 20 years old and we're in a recession.
Yeah.
Money at the end of the day, or I think I should say, wherever there's not money, there can definitely be creativity and fun and spontaneity and stuff like that, you know? You don't have to spend so much money on a woman to impress her. Whereas if you literally just sat down and planned like a little indoor date night, like let's just say you make her a meal, you have some like wine and music and maybe like couples massages after, like I would love that so much, and I would be so appreciative of that. The same as how I would be appreciative of, you know, you spending however much money on me or whatever, you know. I do think that for guys though, it really is like ingrained in them that they just have to spend money to win the girl over. You know, that's just not the case.
Yeah.
At least for me, at least for you.
Yeah. So to also kind of stem off of like financial situations, let's talk about the woman being the breadwinner in a relationship.
Right.
Because my hot take is I think that's girl boss as fuck. Like, slay, have your stay-at-home husband, make him take
Right.
care of the kids in the house. Like, awesome. Good for you for being a girl boss and making that shmoney, baby. Like, period.
Hey.
But men men think they want an independent woman. They
Until
think
they
they
have
want a woman who's making hella money, and then they have the woman. And I feel like I just always see like jealousy. Like, oh, she's now making more money than me.
Right.
And oh, she's doing more for herself than I'm doing for myself. And I hate that. Like,
It's always these like gender roles in relationships. And I feel like, I mean, we were kind of talking about it earlier, but I feel like it's more instilled in men to be this provider, to always be, you know, the breadwinner. You know, you gotta provide for your family and your wife and whatnot. But
I know a direct quote from my father was,
Right.
it's a dad's job to provide and a mother's job to be nurturing.
Which, come on, especially in 2023.
So y'all should both be doing both.
Exactly.
Or
Or
it can be the woman is providing and the man is the nurturing one. Because
or the opposite. Because
exactly.
like we've been saying, everyone's different.
What works for you in your relationship. Again, back to social norms, we shouldn't be so the man has to be the breadwinner or the woman has to be the one taking care of kids.
Right.
If a man wants to stay home and do the cooking, do the cleaning, do all the female, quote unquote, female jobs,
Right.
so be it. And if the woman wants to go out there and make the money for the family, so fucking be it.
Let me tell you. Okay, so there was a period in our time where Walker didn't have a job, and he would be at home with Kai, and let me tell you, this man would be waking up in the morning, making pancakes and dancing to his little jams. Kai would be like ready for the day. He was just so good at it. First of all, it kind of annoyed me a little bit because I'm just like, okay, come on. Like, I'm over here struggling sometimes to just take care of myself, and because, you know, whatever. That's a whole different thing. But like I said, he was amazing at it, and he tells me all the time, he's just like, Michaela, I can't wait for you to like keep blowing up so you can retire me so that I can be home and whatever, you know. And I just,
there's just some men who were meant to be the nurturers, and there's just some women who were meant to be Miss Independent,
right.
and that is okay.
I don't
That is
feel
so
like it
okay.
always has to be just so like cookie cutter, man makes more money, woman stays at home. That's pretty much all of our points, but for anyone who is in a relationship and listening to this right now, I think such a big key factor that I would have to say is don't let yourself, like, don't lose yourself in that relationship. Keep your individuality, because that's what's going to make your relationship alive. And, you know, like we said, you are different than your partner, and y'all's relationship is going to be different than the other relationships that you see. So don't lose that side of yourself just because you are in a relationship. Don't be afraid to go which direction that you need to go in life. At the end of the day, whatever you're feeling is the path that you need to go down. If you're in a relationship and it's not working,
maybe it's as simple as that, and it's not working.
right.
But also, you know, maybe you're just going through a rough patch, and things are going to get better, and you just have to find what works for you
It's
and what
really
works for
like-
your relationship.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it just comes down to knowing yourself, knowing what you need and want, and then going through with that. So yeah, but that's pretty much it for our relationships topic episode. I want to say it again, if you have relationship questions, needed relationship advice, or any advice on any topic, we would love to talk about it. And you can go onto our bio and do a little submission in our Google Docs form
On Instagram.
On Instagram, yes. And I will even link it down below our YouTube description, and it's completely anonymous. You just let us know and we'll read and give our honest opinions. Yep. So feel free to let us know, and just want to say thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye.